And guys, like, I don't have anything to sell. Like, this really works. Like, we did this.
Yes.
We personally
yes.
did this. It works. What's up, guys? My name is Marique, and this is my beautiful wife,
Nasa.
And in today's video, we're going to be telling you how we paid off $125,000 worth of debt in just 24 months. And it's coming to you right now. So, you want to know how we paid off all credit cards, both cars, all student loans, and our house in just 24 months? Here's the short answer. We worked our butts off.
Which means we know there are a lot of you out there right now watching that are probably about to waste your time. So we want to go ahead and save you that time. And right now invite you to leave.
The reason we say that is because this plan is not a quick fix. There's no such thing as a quick fix.
But the beautiful part of all this is, once you decide that you're going to make the necessary changes and you start to see some progress, which I promise you will, you'll feel a whole new level of motivation that you didn't even know existed.
This is actually a pretty simple process. The hardest part, like she said, is deciding to start.
So now that we've got that out of the way, still watching right now, and you're looking to pay some things off, or if you're just interested in a cool story about financial freedom, then you're in the right place.
We know that this is a longer scale video, so for your convenience, we've actually added timestamps in the description below.
So if you're new here with us, we're all about encouraging others to live bold but intentional.
We do that through sharing our life inside our 200 square foot tiny house, talking all things debt freedom and all things marriage.
So be sure to head over to our channel to check out the rest of our cool videos. Part 1.
Let's start with, how did we even get on this process in the first place? How did we learn about Dave Ramsey? What even took us down this path? So
how did we, babe?
We actually received a small or large, I don't know how you want to classify it, but we received a legal settlement of about $9,000. It was a lot of money to us at the time. It still is a lot of money. And we sat down and I was just thinking, you know, what's the best use of this money?
And this was probably 2.5 years into our marriage.
Yeah. And so I just started scouring the internet, trying to find anything I could on it. And then, of course, came across Dave Ramsey. So I came home to Conesa with this bright idea of this new guy I found online. And we got to do this and do this and do this and do this. And this is how we should spend this money. And she pretty much was like, I've been talking to you about this for 2 years.
I was like, oh, really? Tell me more. He discovered something new.
Absolutely. Get your spouse 100% on board and start with the why.
Right? Why do we want to be debt free? Why do we want to live, a different lifestyle? What types of things would we be able to do for our children or for our future if we were debt free?
So for us, it really all started with the monthly budget. Because we already had the 4 walls of our financial house in order, and because we were already current with everything that we already owed, sitting down every month together, no matter what, and cranking out, what exactly we were having come in each month and what exactly was going out. Once we found the difference between those two, we began committing 100% of every penny to our smallest debt.
That's when we realized how much money we were wasting on like entertainment and like just going out to eat and having fun, all that stuff. Here's a graphic that'll help explain things a little better. After starting a monthly budget and saving a $1,000 emergency fund,
first start with organizing your debts from smallest to largest.
Don't worry about the mortgage if you have one. That comes later.
Also, interest doesn't matter.
Except in a few special circumstances when dealing with predatory lenders.
You want to get those guys out of your life as fast as possible.
Assuming you're current on everything, continue paying only the minimum on everything but the little one.
With the baby debt, pay the minimum plus the extra money that you found within your new monthly written budget.
And then all of a sudden, congratulations! You just paid off your first account!
From there, you'll move on to debt number 2.
But this time, you get to combine its monthly minimum with $300 instead of $260.
So even though you have a larger debt balance to pay, you also have a larger debt weapon, or debt snowball as we call it.
Over the next couple of months, you'll attack debt number 2 until it's gone as well.
As you repeat this process over and over and over again, you will continue to gain more and more traction until one day you're putting more money towards debt each month than you could have ever imagined.
Then you hit the home stretch and become debt-free.
I believe I can fly. Yeah, boy.
This was just displayed using only your primary income and the monthly budget. With any additional work you pick up, you can greatly increase the speed in which this process is completed.
And now, back to the video.
The budget actually makes you think about your spending. You're never going to say, hey, I'm going to blow $1,000 this month on restaurants and going out and different things like that, right? You're going to restrict yourself a little bit. It's going to be kind of tough in the beginning. It's not, your very first monthly budget is not going to be, what you think it's going to be. There's going to be things you spend more on, things you spend less on. And over those first 2 to 3 months is where we really kind of started to understand a little bit better where we spend our money, and we began to adjust things accordingly.
Yeah, so you figure it out along the process, but once you get it, you lock into it and you write it out.
When we first started getting out of debt, we had a total of 12 accounts, and we actually didn't have any contracts or anything on the tiny house at the time. And those 12 accounts was a combination of credit cards, student loans, cars, some backed up IRS payments and tax payments and different things like that. It was pretty much a combination of pretty much anything you can think of. It made no sense at all, now looking back at it, for us to have this many different payments going out.
Yes, and let me just say, when we were living this life, we thought we were all that and then some, because we had such good credit. Wherever we went, they were like, oh, y'all credit is good. Do you want to open a line of credit? Do you want to owe us some more money? Here's $8,000. Here's $12,000. Take it all out. And we were like, heck yeah.
I remember thinking that, man, how powerful am I? Like literally, I can walk into a place, sign my name to a piece of paper, and walk out with whatever I want. And I literally felt a sense of power, and it's absolutely insane. Yeah. Yes, I would love to owe you money for a really long time and to pay more for this item than what it's actually worth.
Yes.
It makes no sense at all. We're not judging anybody. We're just talking from our perspective after going through this transformation of getting out of debt and the mind shift change that took place during that process. So you'll notice this plan takes not only just the math, but it also takes the psychology, human behavior. So the $1,000 emergency fund, it's psychological that I need to get through this so I can get that thing funded, because I don't like the feeling of not having that much in savings if something were to happen, right? They're paying them off from smallest to largest. You knock out the first one, it's the baby, you feel like, wow, I made one step positive. Like we had 12 accounts, now we only got 11. Boom, it's on to the next one, right? The smallest one, you attack it with everything you've got. You knock out the second one, boom, roll it into the third, boom, roll it into the fourth. As you start to feel that momentum and that snowball, so to speak, starts building and building and building, this is how you gain that confidence and that momentum to push forward that we were talking about. And guys, like, I don't have anything to sell. Like, this really works. Like, we did this.
Yes.
We personally
yes.
did this. It works. Like, we're not sponsored by Dave Ramsey. This is not like, there's no compensation coming for this video
at all.
There's nothing, right? We have nothing to gain by telling you, but this is what worked for us.
Yes.
And it can work for you.
Once that snowball gets big enough, you'll start to feel like, oh shoot, like, damn, I got so much paid off. Like, what else can I pay out? Like, how else can I make money to like keep making the snowball bigger and bigger and bigger? And so that's where our drives to like get different, like, additional income came in. So once we realized, oh shoot, like, we got down this much amount just by like budgeting. Well, shoot, what if we increase our income? And then that's how we picked up the second job, and the third job, and the fourth job.
And we were motivated to do these things. When you think about a second job and you're not making progress towards anything, it seems like a burden. It seems like pointless. But when we started making progress with this, it was like we enjoyed the idea that we could make even more progress, even faster, and get this thing done. So our whole mind set shifted. It didn't feel like a punishment. It didn't feel like anything. Like, it was literally our desire to do these things and to do this extra work.
Yep. So for me, I taught, coached, lifeguarded over the summers, worked as a hostess, and then as a server, all at different times, never more than 3. And then I
had my full-time job in retail management. I was at Domino's for a while. I was at Pizza Hut for a while. I was at UPS working overnights for a while. And I also was at PF Chang's with her sometimes. Mm-hmm. Never more than 3 jobs at a time.
At a time, yes.
But through the process, these are all the different jobs that we held.
Yeah.
We would literally learn better ways to be more efficient with our time, more efficient with our money, how to earn more. I would literally take only delivery jobs. I might drive 30 minutes to pick up this delivery job at a location where I know the tips are going to be good. And then if I found out about something else, I would move on to that. Like, we literally just kept the side hustles long enough until we could find something that was more lucrative and something that would allow us, to make even more money with scheduling as well, because piecing all the schedules together also was difficult, but it was like a challenge. It was like a game, and we felt like we were winning at the game, so we kept playing.
Yeah, and my ultimate goal was to become a server, because once I started working in the restaurant, I knew I had to get my foot in the door. Once I got my foot in the door, I became a hostess, and then after once I was hosting for long enough, I found another job that would hire me as a server, and that's when the cash really started flowing in.
There were certain combinations of jobs where literally like, oh, I make more if I just hold these 2 positions versus holding these 3
positions.
So you have to like tweak with it and play with it and really like figure out what works for you from all aspects. A lot of people will immediately discount all of this advice and say, oh, they don't have any kids, or they're both married. Well, guess what?
They got double income.
Yeah.
But that's double the debt.
Yeah.
So. If
you come into a marriage with 2 incomes, you typically are also coming in with 2 different sources of debt from 2 different people, right? And then we don't have kids, so we won't touch too much on this, but if you go to the Dave Ramsey YouTube page and look up the debt-free screams, this is when people who have won with this plan go on the show and talk about their journey, kind of like what we're doing right now. You will see families from all different races, all different backgrounds, all different career fields, all different income levels, all different family dynamics. Literally, I've seen people do debt-free screams with 10 kids. So, I mean, the way you get about it, some it might take longer, some it might take shorter, some are going to go super hard, some are going to turn the intensity down a little bit. All of those factors, do play a part, but at the end of the day, the one thing that all of those people have in common is that they all won by following that plan.
They're all winning. So the plan is not faulty by any means. Your journey might be different from what other people's look like, but the plan is solid and it will work.
In a marriage, obviously, you still need time for each other. right? So we got extremely creative with how we spent time together.
Yes.
Part of me going to work at PF Chang's was that we literally would spend time
Right.
together at work. And then, you know, even if we weren't always together at work, like just working in the same place, you kind of know what's going on, you know all the same people. So when you come home and you chit chat, even if it's for a short amount of time, you kind of relate more
A little
on
bit,
it,
yeah.
right?
And it was actually also very cute because it was like, oh, I get to see him like how he is in a workspace, even though I know it was like cool to be there and like witness the whole thing.
Yeah. Another thing that we did to make sure we still had time together is like if she would have a night where she would get off a little bit earlier than me and I was still like out on my delivery route dropping pizzas off, she would actually come ride with me. So
Yep.
imagine that. You order a pizza and the delivery driver shows up at your house and there's like a passenger in the seat. Like that was us.
Yes.
We were that couple because it was like, hey,
This is
You
the
know?
only time we get to spend together. And
Yeah.
your homegirl was literally in the seat. He pulled up to the house, I would literally drop the seat back like, oh my gosh, I hope they don't see me and call the store.
yeah.
And then like get back up like we was riding. But we was eating good too.
Yeah, we got a lot of free pizza.
Yep.
When I was working the overnights at UPS, I would literally get in sometimes at like 4 in the morning and she would be waking up at 5 to go to school. So I literally would come in, make something to eat or just hang out or whatever I had to do around the house and just kind of wait that last hour until she woke up and we, you know, have breakfast together and then she'd go off to work. So like I would come in to crash while she was going out to start her new day.
Yeah.
But we just say those things to show like there are ways to make this work. Like if you're looking for like excuses as to why it can't work versus solutions as to how you can make it work, then you're probably never going to win with this.
Right.
Oh, that doesn't make any sense. You know, why wouldn't you pay off the thing with the highest interest rate first?
But at the end of the day, if this was about math,
You'd already be out of debt, boo-boo.
There were several times where we could have been like, you know what? Like we're sacrificing too much, we're just gonna stop and like when we get out of debt, we get out of debt. But literally if you put your mind to it, whatever obstacle comes your way, you're gonna figure out a way to like win and actually like get through that. And it doesn't even matter, even like people always say like, well, $1,000 is not enough. What if like we have this huge breakdown in our house? And okay, stop the plan. You still doing all this working. Put that money towards that and then get back on the plan. Like at this point, if you saying all those things, you're literally looking for excuses not to do it.
Yeah.
If you don't want to get out of debt, then don't get out of debt. But don't say that you can't do it because you can. You're just choosing not to. If you want to do it, you can do it as long as you put your mind to it and go after it. That's my soapbox. I'm getting off of it.